Hello and welcome to VOA's Red Carpet. I want to thank you for joining us today. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. We've got South African Fashion Week, European powers return looted African art, and the Congo in Harlem Festival is back after being on a hiatus due to the coronavirus pandemic. Let's get on with the show. The 13th edition of the Congo in Harlem Festival has wrapped up at the Mezzo Cinema in the heart of Harlem, New York. The annual festival consists of films and events focusing on the history, politics, and culture of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. VOA's Ginny Kapumbu Villa was in Harlem for the event.
It is in the heart of the historic district of Harlem, at the Mezzo Cinema, which bears the surname of the famous American documentary brothers Albert and David Maysles, that the Congo in Harlem event resumed after the momentary hiatus last year because of the pandemic. Event programmer Nelson Walker stressed what a challenging year it has been.
It's been a real challenge because this is our first time doing a hybrid model, so it's been a little bit challenging to get the word out, and also I think in New York, obviously, people are still readjusting and getting used to going back out. So that's been a real challenge this year.
Congo Oye was produced by Bill Stevens in collaboration with French filmmaker Chris Marker and Black Panther Party members Eldridge and Kathleen Cleaver. This unfinished film was lost, but recovered a few years ago on a videotape at the New York Public Library. In New York's secret African city, acclaimed researcher Robert Farris Thompson took viewers on a cultural tour of New York, revealing the city's deep African roots. The film traces salsa music from Spanish Harlem to the Congo, highlights the Haitian Gidi Festival or Feast of the Dead, Yoruba ceremonies, capoeira, santeria, and hip-hop, and other lesser-known aspects of New York culture from Africa. Professor Lubangi Onyona and Dodji Gbedemah are two of the panelists who took part in the events.
It is very important to know that there are events that bring the Congo-Kinshasa into the spotlight. And so each year we come to Harlem to learn everything that is happening in the Congo and how to participate in the development of the cultural and economic Congo.
I think it's powerful that our voices are being exposed in the media and news networks so that we can tell stories that are genuine to Africans and have it told by Africans.
This event also allows natives of the former Zaire, like Lucy, to reconnect with the land where she was born.
I was born in Congo, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, years and years ago. It brings me back to a past that I had somewhat forgotten, and this makes me feel very good.
Despite the challenges this year, the programmers are satisfied with the results.
We've had some great discussions and really strong audiences, and we've been having a lot of fun. So, this, like I said, this is our 13th year. We have no intention of stopping after this, and we'll keep going as long as we possibly can. And so we hope to see everybody back here next year for Congo in Harlem 14.
Congo in Harlem occurs every year in mid-October.
And from New York City, let's come here in Washington, D.C., where the iconic East African restaurant Swahili Village is no newcomer to those living in Washington, D.C. area, but it has officially opened its second location in the heart of the district. Swahili Village, the consulate, recently hosted more than 300 guests from around the world during its grand opening. Our own Harrison Amayo was there. Check it out.
Africa is the future of the world. Africa is the future of the world.
The president of National Newspapers Publishers Association and an African-American civil rights leader, Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis, Jr., officially opened Swahili Village's newest location with a message of positive energy about Africa. Some big names attended the grand opening while enjoying some tasty African food. Lazarus Amayo is the Kenyan ambassador to the United States and was one of the many ambassadors present at the opening.
When Kevin and Imad opened this restaurant, then COVID came on board. In fact, when they began before COVID, my President Kenyatta, came here and sat and ate from the other end. And I was talking to another colleague of mine, who also brought his former head of state just last week, is a meeting place. The restaurant serves that useful purpose for those who'd like to celebrate or mark an occasion in their life or to bond together. That service provided by restaurants is what Kevin was talking about as food diplomacy.
In addition to being in a prominent location on M Street in Washington, D.C., the restaurant's business owners plan to use the international setting to bring people from around the world together. Kevin Onyona, the owner and founder of Swahili Village, says this is only the beginning.
So in the next 5 years, let's say we're opening 5 restaurants a year. So do the math, 25 restaurants in 5 years. And most of them are already, signed up, so we're sure that we're on our map to meet that goal. This restaurant only serves 5% Kenyans. The rest is everybody else. But that's because 5% of Kenyans don't want, that most Kenyans don't want to pay here. It's because the world is bigger than Kenya. And so we serve the world, we serve everybody.
The walls of the restaurant were decorated in African printed fabrics, as well as adorned with African artwork ranging from traditional sculptures to landscapes from East Africa. First-time guest Kimberly Gates expressed her satisfaction with the food.
I really enjoy the fact that it's a fine dining restaurant downtown DC. And it's, where do you find that? You haven't found that in this city, and it's important. To bridge cultures and to have conversations globally with different perspectives, so it's exciting.
DC resident Janice Fox shared what this restaurant's opening means to her.
One of the things that I learned tonight about the event was the importance of Africa being open for business. And what's cool is that as an entrepreneur that's African American that has lived in Washington, D.C. my whole life, I'm always interested in how I can bridge the gap between the work that I do with youth in the community, especially in production, and how I can make that work so that I can teach young people all over the world about how to create movies and create stories. And that's the work that I've been doing for 15 years here in D.C. So I was really excited to hear about Africa being open and ready for business.
Event host Dr. Chavis emphasized the importance of unity amongst people of the African diaspora.
Swahili Village, and these two brothers, one from Kenya, one from Egypt. What you heard both of them say is just not a speech. It comes from their heart.
Amen, amen, amen.
And I think we can all learn a lot from this night. But it cannot just be one moment in history. We have to pull together and work together. I said the last time I was here, Africa is the future of the world.
Whether you're visiting Washington, D.C. as a guest or a local resident, Swahili Village's welcoming culture will make you feel at home. Harrison Kamau, VOA, Washington, D.C.
And now to some art outside of the US. British universities in Cambridge and Aberdeen have formally handed back artwork looted from Nigeria and Benin during the colonial era. France bid farewell to a trove of treasures taken from the Kingdom of Dahomey. European powers are slowly giving back historical art that was stolen from Africa. Here is more from AFP. The return of looted African art from Europe is gaining momentum. France is preparing to send back 26 looted works of art to Benin. British universities formally handed back artworks to African governments. These royal treasures have been kept at the Kwai Brownlee Museum, dedicated to African art in Paris. French President Emmanuel Macron visited the exhibit from the Kingdom of Dahomey, which is present-day Benin, and spoke about this project.
As you can see, this restitution is more than just restitution. It's a whole cooperation program that should allow us to strengthen our ties, to create new opportunities for discussions, meetings, and projects. And that is perfectly consistent with what we wish to do more broadly.
Macron will formally transfer the works to Benin's President Patrice Talon on November 9th. Elsewhere in Europe, Cambridge University returned to Nigeria a bronze statue looted a century ago. It is one of hundreds of sacred sculptures and carvings known as the Benin Bronzes, which were looted from the former Kingdom of Benin in southern Nigeria in 1897. Director General of the Nigerian National Commission for Museums and Monuments, Abba Issa Tijani, is happy to see this return.
We are very happy to see that this artifact, which has been away from Nigeria for decades, is in good shape, in excellent shape, And by the time we take this object back to Nigeria, people in Nigeria will be extremely excited.
Anti-racism movements in 2020 and the subsequent questioning of colonial legacy gave a new drive to the campaign for the return of looted artworks to Africa. Since then, several other Western institutions have said they plan to hand looted African treasures back too. According to experts, as much as 90% of Africa's heritage is currently outside the continent. Candyman, the latest film by Jordan Peele and director Nia DaCosta, is a remake of the 1992 original of the same title by Bernard Rose. The reimagined Candyman addresses the racial divide, gentrification, and police brutality in Chicago. VOA's Panelist has more.
Candyman. The urban legend is, if you say his name 5 times while looking in the mirror, he appears in the reflection and kills you. Candyman.
Anthony.
Candyman.
Anthony, no.
In Candyman 2021, screenwriter Jordan Peele and co-writer and director Nia DaCosta pay tribute to Bernard Rose's 1992 Candyman, which takes place in Chicago's notorious housing project, Cabrini Green. The movie tells the story of a black man accused of handing out candy with razor blades to kids, gets arrested, tortured, and killed.
He's a story. He's a boogeyman. It's an epidemic of violence on black bodies in this country.
He's real.
Candyman is how we deal with the fact that these things happen. That they're still happening.
Jordan Peele says as a young teen, he was influenced by Bernard Rose's Candyman as the first black lead antagonist in the horror genre.
It felt very daring, and it felt very cathartic, and it was terrifying.
Now, almost 30 years later, Peele's Candyman unfolds in the neighborhood where Cabrini Green used to be.
Cabrini Green has been torn down, and is fairly gentrified now. And the story that resonated to me now is the story of my fear of the white space.
Director Nia DaCosta, who grew up near Cabrini Green, says evoking Candyman's name 5 times before a mirror is also a symbolic act of not forgetting black lives lost to violence and police brutality.
Say the name of the person. Say Breonna Taylor. Say Jacob Blake. Because a martyr is a powerful symbol. If the name isn't remembered, then the name, the person, the life that was lost, that's the most important thing.
Candyman.
Penelope Pulu, VOA News, Washington.
And let's go to South Africa, where the South African Fashion Week kicked off with a live audience for the first time since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. AFP has more. The 3-day fashion show was held at Johannesburg Mall of Africa in front of a select VIP audience. The Autumn/Winter Collection show, which featured 29 top designers, is SAFW's first live runway since the COVID-19 lockdowns began. CEO Lucille Booyzen shared her excitement about having the in-person show back.
This is the very first live fashion week that we do after COVID. We've done 2 digital broadcasts, which were very exciting and very well received. But this is the first live one, and you know, gauging from the audience, they're all ready, because you know, fashion needs to be seen, fashion needs to be experienced, and fashion needs to be a space where people express themselves.
The live runway show was a collaboration between SAFW, the Italian Embassy, Polimoda in Florence, the Milan Fashion Week, and supported by textile company the Gamma to encourage collaborations between South African and Italian designers. And with that, we come to the end of our show today. I want to thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Jackson Bunganyi. For more entertainment news, remember to check us out at voanews.com. We are also on all social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube, where you can watch our videos. Remember to share and subscribe. Until next time, goodbye everyone.